any dream collab that you still have, like on your bucket list, either producer or singer or MC that you'd really love to collaborate with one day?
Yeah, like having a track with Frank Ocean, maybe, kind of.
Easy. And we're on. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Last Week Liquid podcast. Today I have the immense pleasure of sitting down with none other than Julien, better known as Redeyes. With a release catalogue spanning 2 decades, Julien will need no introduction to most of you. Making a name for himself through his trademark style of jazz and hip-hop influenced drum and bass, he's also a co-founder of Vanda Limited Records, as well as the recently launched 5 Alley label. You can catch his latest release, This Must Be the Place EP, out now on all platforms. Julien, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you. Yeah, nice definition. That's me.
I was just saying I need to switch in my mind to English because we were speaking French just before. You're the very first French guest on the show. Yeah. How does it feel?
I'm going to have 2-3 minutes difficult to go back to English, but yeah, we're going to make it.
Yeah. So, yeah, how are things you're based in Toulouse, for people that don't know, in the south of France. How are things in Toulouse at the moment?
Well, I didn't sing a lot because I spent I think the last month making music. So really not really going out. So, but it's still a nice place to go. I always been living around, and I found it hard to live to another city. Like I was thinking at some time when I was younger, moving to Paris or London to get more gig and everything. But we get not stuck, but we really like it here. Like all the people who I know who's been living here, they just stay around because it's nice vibes, nice family vibes. It's pretty sunny too. Like we are near to Spain and everything. So as a city and a place to live, it's really nice. So yeah, always good to be around here. Even if I love to travel, but I always love to come back.
Yeah. I was just telling you before we started recording that I went to Toulouse once about 3 years ago to get a tattoo done because there's an artist in Toulouse that I followed and really loved, and so I went for a weekend there with a few friends of mine, and really loved the city. Just very chill, laid back vibe. We didn't really check the music scene so much, but it was during the summer in June, I think, and just very easygoing, having drinks on the terraces and stuff like that. Really nice city.
Yeah, I got a good sense for drum and bass, but it's still France. It's not England. You don't got this rave club culture, but still got many party, and we just it's not easy to find good spot to play, but it's got this little Bristol vibe, kind of arty and pretty chill.
Yeah.
Just wish we got this English club culture, and it would be perfect. We just missed it.
Yeah, well, you have a culture of your own that's very strong as well. So even if you don't have the raves, you have all the rest. But so let's switch to, just because I was curious. I talked with actually Cian 0T from North Quarter as well, and he's originally from Ireland but moved to the UK for mostly for gigs and for his career. And so you told me you always lived in Toulouse. So what kind of keeps you in Toulouse? Because you've been London, Bristol, where there's a lot of gigs, and in terms of drum and bass, that's where everything's happening. So what stops you from moving to London, for example?
I don't know if it's being lazy or scared about doing this big move, because it is a big move, So then I had my kids, and the kids it was end of the discussion. I'm not gonna bring them to London, or Bristol. I mean, now we Brexit it's end of the topic. But I don't know. Maybe I was too young and lazy to do the big move. But I got no regret so far. But I never know what will happen, because I just like this quiet and sunny place here.
Yeah. Sunny is not what you'll get if you go up north in the UK or Ireland. So
More kind of grey. But
yeah,
every time I go there, I really like it. I love this atmosphere. You know, it's really different. I really like it.
yeah,
But I like to have the possibility to have the two.
yeah.
Maybe live here and go over there on the weekends.
Yeah. Do you ever? I don't know what age your kids are, but do you ever bring them for a weekend or something if you're playing in, I don't know, Amsterdam or London or Paris or things like that?
Yeah, they're still kind of little, like 11 and 10 years old. So they never came with me on gigs, so I always show them video. So now with traveling, it's kind of complicated. I had like a plan to bring them with me, like in London for a weekend. Sometimes now, like you got like afternoon parties, which is like more comfortable for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they are kind of little. So yeah, maybe it will happen sometime soon. I hope. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're playing like a 3 a.m. slot in a like rave underground somewhere, maybe not the best place to to bring a 10-year-old.
And it's like it's most like if you're not 18, you don't go in.
Yeah. Yeah. Have they shown any interest in music already, or like
Yes, they're really listening a lot of music, and I try to teach them the good things, like the story of the music, the background, and everything. Like my son is learning piano since 2 years. I never did, so like I'm pushing him to keep doing it because sometimes I kind of feel like he don't want to do it anymore. But I say, Mom, trust me. Like when you go to be 20 years old, you will thank me because it's pain in the ass to learn the music, but like you will be so thankful. Like later when you will know how to play the music, like something that I never did. So kind of push him, and he always love to, when you recognize an artist like in a shop, you say, yeah, it's Mac Miller, yeah, it's Frank Ocean. I kind of do the smart ass. But yes, they really, it's always, music is always playing in the house, and they play the music in their bedroom, like it's a huge part in the house.
Yeah. So what's kind of your like approach? Because I don't have kids yet, but it'll come soon in like a few years, and I'm a bit scared that they're just gonna listen to whatever's on the radio, and then I'll be like, nah, that's not good music. Let's listen to this. Like, do you try and kind of influence them, like what they listen to, and put on good albums at home, or is it just whatever they like is fine? Or
yeah, I think when they are really little, they just do what their parents do. So they're listening, they think I'm listening. So and I kind of feel like they really like it too. But my daughter, which is like the older one, she just had a phone, and so I gave her a subscription for like Apple Music, and she kind of plays sometimes some stuff, and she told me like, I know you're not gonna like it, but yeah, it's fun. You can have your own taste. She can like Billie Eilish or Adele. Like, I mean, it's not bad music, just not my kind of music.
yeah,
She always like scared of what I'm thinking about what she's listening, and she said, yeah. Well, I know you're not gonna like it, and it's fine. I don't have to like. It's fine to have your own taste.
Yeah.
And sometimes she sent me like on WhatsApp some good R&B artists that I don't know, so she kind of discovers some stuff on her own. So that's pretty cool.
Some stuff to sample for your own music, and
I'm trying.
Yeah, but like just on like Billie Eilish, I don't know how much you listen to her, but there's some really good stuff in there, like even like production wise. If you just listen to the production, there's some really, really good stuff beyond just like pop and all of that.
This is what I tell her, like, it's not something I don't like. It's just a kind of music I'm not into, but I can listen to an album and it's fine because it's like, as you said, good production. It's still musical. It's not like only built for the charts of making hits. It's not like proper industry music. So
yeah.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah. And the fact that they produce, it's Billie Eilish's brother who produces all the songs and writes a lot of the songs with her. And like the first album, they did it entirely in their bedroom, which I thought was like super. Cool. Yeah, it's super inspiring. It's really inspiring for anybody that wants to like make music, and kind of reminded me of the last EP from Settle, Bedroom Producer with a Dream. It's like yeah, you start in your bedroom, you can make it in your bedroom.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Erika Badu last EP. She did it like at a young producer in London. They did it like in 7 days. It was like in the house of her mom, and they were just in their bedroom like teenager. It was Erika Badu, and they made like a EP 6-track in 1 week. And it's like when you know about this story, it's like crazy what you can do.
Yeah, it's really
If
inspiring.
you got the passion.
Exactly. Yeah. How did you like start? Did you start as a DJ or as a producer?
Yeah. Start as DJ. Like was just buying like hip hop records at first, and I think it was mid-90s. So like kind of just hip hop and kind of trip hop, like Mowax, Ninja Tune stuff. And then the jungle came in, so I also bought jungle records. And then I stopped buying hip hop records, just buying jungle and drum and bass record. Like every Tuesday, we all gonna meet at the record shop for the new release. It was like first came, first serve. And yeah, it was like spent so many money in record, I guess, like a lot of other people. So yeah, it start like been DJing a long time, and then I've been able to afford like my first laptop, and then I start producing, but it was like way later.
And so what was the motivation to start producing? Was it to be able to play your own tracks to people, or was it just because you were curious and you wanted to write music? What was the motivation?
It's just a natural next step for me. Just like today, creating a label. It just, you start as a DJ, and then, okay, you start as a producer, and then you start a label. It just natural. It's just, you want to do it all, because just like music for me, it's like breathing. So, I want to explore all the possibility, but it's never something I've been really thinking about it. It's just something I had inside. Like, I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I had some friend of Lutin, Usman, and Brooks. They were producing on Reason, and I was spending some days in the studio just watching them, what they were doing. So I kind of learned, because it's always important to have somebody to look and to learn. So yeah, it was just natural.
So I was also curious, like obviously in London and Bristol, there's like a million drum and bass producers in every like street or whatever. So it's quite easy to learn from people and exchange ideas and all of that. How was it for you when you started producing? Was it hard to like learn different things? Were you finding the information? Were you helped by a lot of people? How was that like early journey for you?
Well, no, it was okay. As I said, like I was just the guy in the back of the studio, just watching and learning a lot of time, and then I just had help of a couple of friends. Like for me, like the harder thing was to get the music out at this time, to get the music out of the computer and to make it known to other producer. It was like the harder step when you're living from France and there wasn't like no social media and everything. But I just got like this good couple of friends who just teach me.
Yeah, that's really helpful. I had to rely on YouTube because I've made a lot of friends now through the podcast and different like people I've met online that I've never seen in real life. But when I started producing, it was just YouTube. YouTube was there for me.
Well, it's a chance. Like today, I'm still learning stuff like on YouTube, watching some tutorial. Like we didn't have this like in the it was more like early 2000. So it was very difficult to find like some good tutorial. So like if you didn't have like some good friend around you, like it's only if you're a big nerd and can learn everything on your own, which wasn't my case. So
yeah. So I was listening back to your very first album when I was preparing for this chat, your like first piece of music, and then listening to the recent EP, your last album, and I was really surprised how like your style hasn't really changed that much in like 20 years. Like maybe the production, okay, you can maybe hear a bit that it's aged, but roughly like really stayed the same, which I think is like really impressive. I was kind of curious if like, how did you start first with your like sound of like jazz and hip hop? How did you like decide on that sort of music?
I was just trying to make the same music as Caliber. But
That's the good answer.
I'm not gonna lie, I just wanted to make the same music as Caliber was doing. Like, I remember Julien played Mystic on the radio. We had like a FM radio, like associative radio in France. They had a jungle show like every Wednesday afternoon. I was recording on tape, and it was more like virus stuff, more rolling, and one day he just played like this tune on Creative Source, and it was like, fucking hell, what is this? You know, like it was like really a game changer. And since this day, it was like, okay. And then you got like all the Solar stuff, Marcus Intalex and everything. But like Caliber, yeah, I just wanted to make the same music as him. Like, and I just got like my little personality in my music. I don't think I like a big signature sound. Like people like Lensman got one, Random Movement got one. I think I got a vibe, but not really a big signature. But like as you said, like it's true. Like if you listen like to my first Creative Source or the album Poetry in Motion and like Self-Portrait, still kind of the same universe and influence. Like really so jazz, R&B vocals. Yeah. I should evolve a bit more.
No, I think it's. I feel you have a signature sound when I hear like your latest music. I can hear, that's Redeyes, and some artists kind of change with time, which is it's not a bad thing. Like everybody does whatever they want to do, but then sometimes it's hard to like, I guess recognize an artist's sound. So, but I was kind of curious also if like through time, obviously Liquid had a big explosion with Caliber, and like in the mid, I don't know, 2000s, 2010. Now it's a lot more about the tech vibe and deeper stuff for the last few years. Did you feel any pressure, or did you ever want to explore other genres that might be easier to sign or stuff like that?
Yeah, I always feel we are like the underground of the underground, because it's like a little sound in the little sound on drum and bass is not that big. Like you got like some big artists like Ibrid's Minds, or I don't know, some people on Hospital, whatever. But I always want to get like, of course, like I don't pressure myself on trying to make music that's gonna be listened by more and more people. But like if I can just get like more gigs and playing a lot more, it will just make me happier, you know. But I never try to force it, because I know it's shit. It's not gonna sound good. Like I try sometimes, like I'm just gonna try to make like this kind of jump up track, and no, it's not working. You know, because it's forced, and I just want to keep it like really instinctive and like, you know, direct straight from art to the laptop, like without overthinking it. And really catching an atmosphere and vibe. So this is why my sound didn't really change, because I just wanted to be true to myself.
I think that's the best way to to produce generally, is just kind of what comes naturally. And definitely we just mentioned your latest album, Selfportraits, which came out last year in 2020. Tell me a bit about that album. I really love it. Tell me a bit about like first off, the structures of the songs, like the way it's in Spotify is something I've never seen before, like sticking 2-3 songs together as one song. Like how did that process come about?
It's been a pain in the ass, like for the mastering and like for like registering and everything. Like it's been a bit complicated. Like at first we just got like 8, 9. It's been really quick in the process. This album, it was like first time of first lockdown. I spent a lot of time at home with my kid around, so just had these creative windows. They can be short and they can be like really rare this day, but when they open, it's like I'm making tracks. So like this, like 90% of the album has been made like in the first months of lockdown, like March, April. And I also like got a couple of interlude or maybe 3, 4. So we are playing with Lensman, and because when you're working on quarter, it's like it give you feedback and so you can get like more creative idea when you got like extension on ID. And we are just at this point like, yeah, we should get like maybe one track, one interlude, one track, one interlude. And at the final, it will be like 20 tracks. And we're more in kind of the idea of 10, 12 tracks of the best album, like Ilmaticness is just 10 banger. So it was more into the idea, like maybe get like a structure, like it's making like a mix, like you got like some tracks separated, but in fact you could just listen like from beginning to the end. And that's a loop too, because like the end of the album can also fade in, fade out with the first track.
I didn't know that.
Of a loop. With the intro and the outro, like it can play as a loop. So I know after 1 hour you're bored and you don't want to listen again. But if by mistake you put your phone like on repeat, you will see like it's
that's really cool.
Kind of a loop, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, how did you manage to like fit different parts together? Was that an easy process, or like, yeah, for mastering it must be hard, I guess, or do you master them separately and then you stick them together?
I don't know if they did, because it's not my part. Like the good thing, like with I never been like a great engineer. So the good thing, like when you're working like with North Quarter, we got like people who help us like for the mix down. Like we got like some motive. And so he's got this boring part of doing the nerd of like balancing everything. So yeah, I just like made my tracks, and with some post-it, I'm trying to find the good track list. And then they just do like the engineering stuff. And then I think the worst was for the master, because obviously like the interlude is not as loud as the drum and bass track, but if they are on the same track, they had to try to make them on the same balance. So I think they hate me, or maybe they hate both with Lensman too after this, but like I think they're good people, so they will forgive us.
Yeah. I thought it was a really cool idea, because for me a good album is every album is different, but 10, 11 tracks maybe with like an intro, interlude, maybe an outro or something like that. If it's 20, 25 tracks, sometimes it's hard to like listen to it as a whole experience unless you have like 2 hours in front of you. But yeah, I really enjoyed how the tracks are put together, because it's kind of like, yeah, you're gonna have to listen to the intro and the interlude. You can't like skip them and just listen to the tracks. You have to listen to the intro and the little interludes at the end. And I don't know if that was also part of your process of like, yeah, you can't just skip to the song you want. You have to listen to them together.
Yeah, exactly. It was really kind of an experience, like, I don't know, maybe it's stupid. Like for my label, I did like a hip-hop tape, the beat tape, and it's just available on this tape. It's just like, sometimes you got to challenge people, like it is so easy to listen to music. You can listen for free on YouTube, or you can have like 1 million album on Spotify, Apple Music, or whatever. Like everything is like in 1 second you got an album.
Yeah.
And so there's no difficult, like when I was a kid, sometimes I had to walk 3 kilometers to go to the shop to buy a CD or something, or a tape. And it was a real challenge to be able to listen to some music. So sometimes it's just, I think it's good to still challenge people.
Yeah, definitely. It kind of reminded me of Linkin Park. They released, I think it was their third or fourth album, 1,000 Suns. They released it as like one track on iTunes at the time. I think it was just like one track, 50 minutes long or 1 hour long or something. And it was like, yeah, if you want to buy it, that's it. It's like one track.
Yeah, you just experience and have a big ride, like it's good to make some different stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to be creative,
Yeah. And I want to come back to the cassette, because I think that's a like fascinating experiment. But just staying on the albums for a minute, it might be a tough question, but do you feel like are albums still relevant in 2021? Like, is there still a point to make albums when people can just listen to one song, skip, go to another one? Like, does it still make sense or not?
We don't really know what makes sense anymore today. So I think we just really like to do them as a creative exercise, like finding concept. It's just like there's no point to like kind of compilation album, like where you just put some tracks you've been making in 1 year, like cause just really single, and people will make their own playlist and everything. But if you come like with a different idea, different concept, like self-portrait or something that you're gonna be based on an artwork, we will settle a mood. I think if you got like some interesting story to tell, it will always be good to make album. But if you just like compilation of good tracks, like with no connection between them, I think it's better to release single or EPs and people will sort out their own playlist.
Yeah, I was chatting with Submorphix. He had his album Kodak Dreams, which also has like a strong concept behind it.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like on the North Quarter, you have to have a concept and a story you want to tell, or else it's not gonna fly with Lensman.
Well, it's kind of, it's a guy who loves the challenge and also to love to be creative and to give something different to the people, kind of surprise the people with bringing something new to the table. And that thing, like there's many, like most of the things on North Quarter are like really solid EP, like 4 to 6 good tracks, like really, really solid EP. And then once in a time, you got like some really good album with a good concept, like crazy artwork, and all bringing together, it makes something like good focus, like for self. Like I could spend my life releasing like 100 singles, but I don't know, making an album is what makes me kind of the most happy in this thing, because you really got a creative process.
Yeah. Does it also come with more pressure and stress when you know it's going to be for an album, or is it kind of the same creative process of just writing tunes, but you're just in a different headspace?
Yeah, it's exactly this. Like I'm just leaded. I got like the big things in my mind, like maybe it can be an artwork or picture, a mood or something, and I'm just leaded by this. It's just like I'm attracted, like like a black hole. It's my album, it's a black hole, and I'm just attracted, and I got to give it all, and I know when it's gonna be over, like, okay, I need one more tune, and it's really like attracting process.
Yeah. Just to like come back to my question, I do feel albums still have their place in today's world. I love listening to albums. I grew up on buying CDs and coming home after school and kind of going through my CDs and like picking, okay, I'm going to listen to this album now and putting it on. And yeah, I really miss those times, but at the same time, I love Spotify and there's a million artists.
I love spending days making playlists.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I got a million of different playlists like on my phone, but I also love to listen like on album, like buy like records and put the album and listening straight from the beginning to the end, and you got like million way of listening to music. So
yeah. There's anyway, the technology is there, and there's no point like fighting against it either. So
and we're lucky. Like if I was a kid and being able to have all this music like accessible, I would be like the most happy kid in the world. I wasn't. I think I've been okay because you didn't know, you didn't have anything else, so you just like go and buy the cassette or the CD or the records. But today is pretty cool. Like you can discover so many new artists. Like back in the day, you just need, okay, I'm gonna buy it. Okay, I didn't like it, but it's too late. I buy it.
Yeah.
Today you just go through your phone and you can discover like a million of artists. So it's pretty chance.
Yeah, I think I bought and I went into the shop and I decided like, okay, I'm just gonna look at the artwork. That's it, and just pick something based on the artwork. came home and hated the album and never listened to it. And that was like, yeah, 10, maybe 10 euros at the time or something, 10, 12 euros. And I listened to it once and that was it.
Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, I do. It was, I don't know if it was punk or metal, which I love heavy metal now, but when I was 10, 12, maybe it wasn't the right time, but it was a band called Therapy with with like a question mark.
I
And
know that.
and it was an artwork of I think it was a guy with his head like in a bin or something, like a dustbin or something. Anyway, I just saw the artwork. I was like, wow, this is kind of weird and dangerous, you know? So I just bought it and then, I don't know. I should listen back to it now actually, but just listen to it once and then never listened again. It's part of the experience.
Yeah, but because sometimes some album, it's also depend on the mood you are. And or some tracks, you know, sometimes you're gonna listen to something, you're not gonna like it, and you're gonna be in a different mood, and you finally say, "Yeah, I'm liking it," you know, because it can really affect your days and also like the experience of listening to it.
Yeah, I should check at my parents' house if it's still in like a box or something. Dig it out. But yeah, cool. Talking about CDs and cassettes, you put out your beat cassette for the first release of Five Alley. So maybe before we talk about the cassette, for people who haven't heard, so you launched a new label called Five Alley back in September. So tell us a bit about the motivation, the idea behind launching a new label.
Yeah, it's been something not I always wanted to do, but like it's been growing on me. Like I used to work like on Redeyes Records like some years ago, and I really like it. It just was difficult because it was with somebody else, we didn't got like this really the same taste. He was more on the hard stuff, I was more on the cool stuff. So it was always about compromise. And sometimes I liked some release, sometimes he didn't, and vice versa. So at some point it wasn't working anymore. So now I'm just happy to do whatever I really like. And as I was saying earlier, it was just a natural step after producing. I wanted to create something and also to have like, not just like Redeyes label, but I did it with a couple of guys, with Eva and Tom. And it's nice to experience something with other people too, which are the same state of mind as you are. And so yeah, we wanted to do something different. Like we are working with charity to help some people, and we did like the German bass EP and then a bit cassette. Wanted to have a few things. Like it took us a lot of time to get everything ready, but we didn't want to rush. We just saying like it's gonna be ready when it's gonna be ready. To be honest, I like the idea and the name, everything. Like maybe 2 years ago, we just trying to have the right German bass EP take me a while, because it was like maybe just after Selfportraits, I tried to make some demo, but the tune wasn't ready. Was making a lot of hip hop beats, which ended on the tape. So I just wanted to have like the good German bass EP. So it takes a bit of a while.
Yeah. So tell me about the actual name Five Alley, because I think it's inspired by basketball. I think I know nothing about basketball at all. So
yeah, it was like about team spirit, you know, about like doing things together, like building a label with a few passionate people. So five is like the five who start the game. Like basketball is played by 5 people. So in French we say like le 5 majeur.
Okay.
And it's the alley oop. Like it's like a move of the basketball when you got like somebody pass in the air and the guy get it in the air and dunk.
Yeah, and then dunks. Okay,
like
yeah.
Really coordination between players. So it was like kind of playing together as a team, and also I love like the artistic and the graphic of the basketball too. It's been like really influenced by this.
Yeah, because I saw the T-shirts that you made for Five Valley, and it's a really old school kind of US like college type of
Yeah, exactly.
of
Kind of
fonts.
Lakers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a big influence, like in the label. Yeah.
Yeah. Were you always a fan of basketball?
I'm not like the biggest fan. I just like love. Of course, I love basket. Same as I love football, but it was like more graphic. Like for kids in the 90s, we got like Jordan, which was like exploding at the same time as the hip hop. So it was like kind of the NBA. It was really magic at this time. So it's something like really get me in when I was a teenager. So it just didn't really left me.
Yeah. And now it's kind of like in fashion again, like everything, like 90s, 2000s, like the large, was it like large jeans? Now it's not skinny jeans anymore. It's like a circle. It's coming back. So
we're so back in the 90s now. It's baggy are back.
Exactly.
And, my friend Tom from the label, he want to do a basketball jersey for the second release. Like, so,
that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Let's
see.
Just on the topic of sport, because I'm a huge rugby fan, and Toulouse is a big like rugby city in France.
Like the drum and bass, we are the best.
The best in France. Yeah. Do you follow any rugby? Is that a sport that you enjoy watching, or?
I'm just happy when Toulouse win. I'm not really following or watching, but I'm just happy when they win.
Yeah, must be a good party in the city.
Yeah, it's always a good excuse to see drunk people in Toulouse. Like,
yeah. So before talking about the cassette, the Five Valley label also has this social goal of giving, I think, 20% of profits to a charity called Vérité Justice 31, I believe.
That's the first one.
Yeah. So maybe tell me just a bit about that charity. What's kind of the work that they do, and how did you guys decide to support that kind of cause?
So it was via Tom, which is working with us on the label. He's like really, I'd say, implicated in a lot of social activity in Toulouse. He got like a team where they are going to give clothes to people who live in the street, like who don't got home, who are homeless. And so he got, a lot of structure and association. So we pick up this one because like it was really about actuality, because they are fighting police brutality and Islamophobia. And it was like something big in France this last year with like the Gilets jaunes fighting in the street, against police.
Yeah.
And a lot of police brutality. And so this group is just helping the people who can afford a lawyer to help them in court when they got like some they've been injured by the police but can't afford a lawyer or anything, so they try to help them with this. And so we just found it was a good team to start working with. Or I know it's nothing like 20% of drum and bass release for first EP. It's not gonna be big money, but just something we wanted to do. Like we share the stuff on the social media and just like just want to be helpful. I had this idea when I did this thing with DRS, the colored EP.
Yeah,
it was like 7 hip-hop tracks and everything goes to charity. It was just after like the death of George Floyd, so it just inspires me. Like, we should do more. Like, you always got people who say like, you don't need to politicize music, but music is politicized from the beginning, from the roots of this culture. Like the rave is a political act. Jungle is kind of a political music, So it was just like natural to us to try to do a bit more.
Yeah. I find it always curious when people say, "Oh, don't get political," but then they'll also say, "Oh, if you have a voice and a platform, you should also use it and you should speak about this." And then it's like, okay, like what should I do? Should I speak or not speak? Or
Yeah, and I realized like all the music I was listening as a kid, like from of course hip hop, but also like Pearl Jam or Rage Against the Machine, it was like so political, and they use their voice to spread like the good speech. So it's kind of natural, like 20 years later, to try to do as little we are.
Yeah.
But maybe it will also be an example for some kids today. Yeah, we can associate it, but like sometimes the people who say like you shouldn't like get involved with politics is mostly, I don't want to categorize, but people who don't really got any problem. I don't want to see like dark thing on their TV, or in their life.
Yeah. Just often if they don't agree, then it's like, okay, don't talk about politics. But if they actually agree, then they won't say anything. But yeah, I always think that there's like, you don't have to be political if it's like not your thing as an artist and you just love music and you make music. But I think there's obviously nothing wrong about using your platform to push a message that you believe in. That's as you said, like Rage Against the Machine, or going back to hip hop, NWA, all that stuff is hugely political.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like I'm not talking about it every day, it's just like we're just trying to make people aware of some issues. So it's just like sometimes, and we just try to talk about it.
Yeah. And as you said, like maybe a first release isn't gonna like bring in a huge amount of revenue, but it's also about just raising awareness and saying, oh, by the way, we're supporting this charity. Then people can kind of learn about it, and that's also part of it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of I don't know if you heard this charity called Headspace.
Yes.
So that's for it's run by Pixies. It's for mental health, and she publishes how much revenue she donates, and it's like a few €1,000, which might not seem huge, but first, for a smaller organization, that can be a lot of money. And secondly, in terms of awareness, when you have like 20 artists spreading the message about mental health, like that's huge.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a good thing, like more and more people talk about it, because like in the music scene, it's been a kind of a taboo, and I mean, it's got a huge part of trouble of people in the scene. Like it's difficult to keep your head straight in this industry. So, I mean, who didn't have some kind of health trouble, once in a while in the lifetime. So it's nice, like today we can talk about it and do some stuff instead of making it fake and saying, yeah, it's all good and I'm okay. So now it's okay to say you're not okay.
Yeah, exactly. And there's been more and more artists, especially with the pandemic and all of that, more artists opening up and just saying, oh, by the way, I'm really suffering right now. And I think that really helps a lot of people.
Yeah, like you're not alone, talk to a friend and share some experience, and just the fact of talking and letting it out, I think, helps you to recover a bit, maybe. So it's a good thing to talk.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. So, coming back. So I do want to talk about this tape because I love the idea, and especially in a world of like digital art, and I don't know if you follow everything that's happening with NFTs and all of that, to actually have something that's unique but physical. I just love the idea. So tell me, like, how did that idea come to you? And how did you come up with the idea of doing a cassette?
I don't really remember how it came out, but I know I had like ton and ton of hip hop beats, and Lensman did some tape. Like I think I got like my All Broken Soul and the first EPs on cassette. I got them at home, so I was thinking maybe it would be a good idea to make like a cassette with all those beats. So I try, like I had a look at all my beats and I make kind of a mix, because like it's not like just some separate tracks. It's kind of the self-portrait, like the track are following it. So it's kind of a mix on both tapes. So it took me like longer time making 15 minutes to get like both sides. And then I was just thinking like it just should be on the tape. like because there's maybe some hot samples, so I don't want maybe to want it like on Spotify to get some trouble on sample because I didn't clear any. So it was also one of the reasons it should be just on cassette, you know. And also remember this Wu-Tang Clan album, which has been like on, like you were talking on NFT, just like they just did like one album which was like just on one box, you know, just one copy. So it was kind of decided to do something unique. You know, it's not going to be on the internet, so you can just buy the cassette. Maybe you got nothing to play it, but maybe you will. Because I did record them all. It's just like really limited amount. I made like something like 50. Okay. And so I bought a tape player, which was like not working. I make it repair twice. So it was like another record tape one by one. So it was challenging for me too.
So how does it work to actually make a? Because I thought you would send the tune somewhere and they make the cassette for you. Like maybe there's one shop in France that does it or something. So did you actually do it yourself, like playing the tunes off your laptop and then recording directly on tape?
Yeah, that's what I said. I ordered like the tape from something in Germany, which they do like all the packaging. So I did the artwork too, and so they do the cover, and they send you the blank tape. In fact, with the name, everything on it, everything fake, and just need to record them. So I put like the music on my iPad, and I plug it to my tape player, and just record it one by one.
That's so cool. I love the idea. Yeah, I love the idea of somebody who like buys it and then receives it through the mail. He has his tape, and then he's like, okay, how do I play this? Like, how does this work? Like probably for a few people, it's like their first tape ever. Like maybe young people. So
yeah, maybe I know my son wants a Walkman like for Christmas because he said, "Yeah, I want to play your tape," because he says that's tape at home. So now he want a Walkman. But I think he like Guardian of Galaxy too, so he kind of like the Walkman. So.
Yeah. That movie brought back the Walkman into fashion, definitely.
Yeah.
Can you still buy a Walkman somewhere?
Yeah, so like on a kind of, you know, people-to-people app where people buy the second-hand stuff.
Yeah.
And like I see every day Walkman, like every day you got 4 or 5 Walkman a day. So people are selling them like second-hand, but I think maybe you still can find some new too.
Yeah, I'm sure if you give it like maybe a year or two, you're going to see people walking in the street with like a Walkman and like headphones. I'm sure it's gonna come back.
Yeah, and it's so more easy than, you know, remember like this, how did you call it, like for the CD, like the CD player?
Yeah, Discman or
It's a Discman. It was like so big and it was always not working when you were moving. It was like a pain. Just like the Walkman was the perfect like size. And
I was.
If you got the auto reverse, you're the king of the world. Like
I forget who I was talking to about this, but I was a bit young for a Walkman, so I started with a Discman, and I had like a Sony Sport version that I could put sideways on my belt, and so even sideways, it would still read the CD, and it was like the coolest thing ever. I was so cool.
Just a bit big on the belt, but like it was working.
Yeah, it was working, and like nobody else had one, or I don't know. I just felt really cool, but yeah, I kind of missed those days as well of just having physical music. But anyway, just gonna switch slightly. I've got a few questions from my patrons, my lovely patrons over patreon.com/lastweekliquid. Got a few questions in from them. So I got a question here from Nate, who asks, he says he's a big fan of yours since the track Kashmir. So he knows it's a long time ago, but any insight, anything you remember about writing that tune? He'd love to hear about it.
I think Kashmir, it was with my friend from Paris, Sweden. I think it was a B-side on Bingo or something, maybe from A Lover. I'm not sure I remember how the tune is sounding, but I remember my friend Swede, which now is Bad Knife, is making techno, something like this. And when I used to like collaborate with people, it was only via internet. Like distance from home because I wasn't feeling comfortable even today to work with somebody next to me. I don't know why, but I just like maybe too shy or stupid. And this guy was just lovely, and it was really working in the studio. Like we made like 3-4 tunes. So we made Poetry in Motion together, and The Night Is Over too on the album Poetry in Motion. It was just floating around because it was like just good vibes, and nobody wasn't judging or just felt comfortable with him. So it was, this tune was made, I think, in this, spent like a week or two at home. It was just fun, and we made those tunes together. I think it was like the only guy I really make a tune next to him.
Oh,
you know.
You've never worked with anybody in a studio since then?
Just online, I think. I remember I tried once when I was touring New Zealand with Tokyo Pros, where was like, he played kind of piano loop and was like doing some stuff on the keyboard. And it was just, okay, let's go to the pub, man. Not just not walking, you know?
Yeah.
So, I think just need to be really comfortable with the people, or maybe if it's like a really good friend and feel comfortable with, maybe it's gonna work. But like, I don't got like proper souvenir of making a tune in the studio with somebody in the real life.
Yeah. Well, it's important to know how you work best. Like if you work best over the internet, that's the way to go. As you said, there's no point forcing it. So and
you just send it back, and you add your little thing, and it's totally different from like when you're with somebody, you can like exchange ID and have some laugh, and you know, you just need to be the right person.
Yeah, no, definitely. Nate also asks, what's kind of your process for working with drums? Do you do them separately to get them as perfect as they are, in his words, or is it more of like a iterative process as you're writing the tune?
I always try to get like tune come really early in the process. It's just like, even if I hear like a good sample, a good loop, I just try to stick it like with a good groove. So I try to layer a couple of breaks to have the sound I got in my mind. Because like when I heard the loop or a sample or something, I got in my mind what kind of beat I should write for this music. So I was playing different breaks, and then when it's sounding right, I just adding some more extra, like some hard percussion and then some kick and snare, and trying to process. Then at the end to get like something as a wall, but it's always trying to find the right groove with a few breaks. I'm kind of close to like a lot of people like just write the wall drum just from kick and snare, and like a lot of editing. I'm not enough passion to do this. I got to go quick, so I'm just like some good old breaks.
Yeah. Actually, on the topic of samples, Nathan McKay asks, how do you source your samples? Obviously, I guess there's a lot of samples, jazz, hip hop samples. What's generally your process for sampling?
Just listening to a lot of music. That's the thing, and like I listen to a lot of jazz, a lot of soul and hip hop. So you just dig every day, and sometimes I just spend like I said at the beginning of the interview, I spent a lot of time writing music. At this last month, but the first week of the process, I just spent like 1 week trying to find sample. So I was listening to. So today you got like the opportunity to, with Spotify or your streaming app, to listen to everything, and then you can just buy the tune out of iTunes or something. And just like listen to a lot of music, soundtrack, jazz. So try to get something like not famous. I always try to find something which I don't know the name of the artist, you know, because if you know the name of the artist, it's maybe a bit too big to sample it, you know, unless you are cool and can afford to clear the sample. But if you want to keep it undercover, it's better to get something really, really underground.
Yeah, not James Brown, for example.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And Lensman got the good things when you said, would you sample? You go on Spotify and check like the number of followers I got. Like it said, okay, if you got 3 followers, okay, it's fine.
It's fine.
If you got 1 million, don't even think about it, man.
Yeah,
like there's a major, like they track everything. I guess they may have like some Shazam app to find like the sample and get your money.
Yeah.
Even if you don't make money, they can steal the few you're making. So, so yeah, you gotta be careful and just like listen to a lot of things.
Yeah. So do you do sessions where you're like just sampling and building up a library of samples, or is it while you're writing a tune, you're kind of sampling directly from tracks? Like, how does it work usually?
Yeah, when I'm making hip hop, usually I spend a lot of time digging a lot of rare soul stuff, jazz, and like every time I'm listening something with this is can work, so I keep it. And then when I got like 10, 20, okay, I'm gonna take one by one and make a track with it. And for drum and bass, it can be different because sometimes you don't need much more. You can play a few K and build around, and sometimes you don't really need samples. And sometimes you can also be like from some bank, like today you got like 1 million of some bank, like or with Splice, where you rent monthly, you can have like access to every day a huge amount of things, and you can just have like kind of little piano loop. You're gonna put it on MIDI, play with a different on Ableton, and making something on your own. So yeah, it's kind of the process.
Yeah. He also asks if you have like any official, because you talked a lot about hip hop, any official side projects where you explore other interests musically.
For myself, got like side project. Yeah, I'm trying to make like a hip hop project for next year.
Oh, nice.
So so it's just in the beginning where I got the beat, and the other part is finding an MC, I guess, because if I will be a good MC, it will be easier for me. Like people who write a beat and rap, but I'm really shit at writing. So
did you ever try?
No, no, because I'm not really a good writer, So writing line, it's not my stuff. Not enough passion or creative this way. So I'm just focusing on the music, and but I hope it's gonna work. I got some leads, and just gonna try to make it happen.
Okay, nice. And so last question from Nathan: any dream collab that you still have, like on your bucket list, either producer or singer or MC that you'd really love to collaborate with one day?
Yeah, like having a track with Frank Ocean, maybe, kind of.
Easy.
Or Andre 3000 on a hip hop track. I don't know. Like, I'm happy to have like the connection we got, honestly, with the Manchester scene. Like, people have been working on North Quarter, like Abnormal Sleeps or Cassette, Fox, DRS, Tyler Daly. I'm just grateful to have been working with those guys. They are amazing. And also just like the people on North Quarter, making tracks with Lensman or FD. Yeah, I'm just grateful to have this opportunity to write music with people I really admire, I really like, and are friends. So I said, like Frank Ocean, it's kind of like, it's like same as making something with Eric Abadou, like you go,
it's a dream.
Big. It's a dream. It's maybe better it's never happened because
too much pressure.
Yeah, too much pressure. So yeah, I'm just grateful for what I made so far.
Brilliant. I think that's a great note to leave it on. Really loved this chat, Julien. It was great.
Yeah, it was
great meeting you. Really enjoyed this one. It was great having finally a French person on the show. That's one more country on the podcast history. So yeah, really enjoyed this one. Maybe before we shut off, anything you want to let people know, any projects, shows you'll be playing at, where can people check you out, all that usual stuff?
Yeah, so I've just made like the second mixtape of North Quarter, State of Mind, with the amazing Fox MC from Manchester. So it's kind of a compilation. It's mixed. So it was really hard to get like just 17-minute mix because so many good tracks been released on North Quarter, like over 5 years, I think. And when I tried to make like the playlist of the track, I wanted to get in this mix. At the end, I was like, no, I wanted to put this one. So I tried to make like a different version because I wanted to have this track and finish this track. And I was like, stop it. I'm going to leave it like it was. It was good. So you're always like not sure. So I got like a new track I did with Lensman on it, Outside Girl, which we really like. With Lensman, we played like many times in club. It was really a fun track to do. So this is out. The mixtape is already out. The mix is out on SoundCloud and Mixcloud, and the first single is out 3 December, and the compilation with the album with 10 original tracks is out 17 December. Then I should have a track I produced for a R&B singer to be out really end of the year. And I'm finishing actually the next thing for Five Alley, which I would like to have it as soon as it is, like maybe winter next year, before spring. And then I'm going to tour the US probably in April if we are allowed to.
Yeah.
And yeah, so far we are allowed to. Just hope it's going to keep going like this.
Yeah.
So that's it for the near future, yeah.
Brilliant. All right. Well, best of luck with Five Alley. Hopefully you get to tour the US as well. And yeah, in the meantime, thanks a lot for your time. Really enjoyed it, and all the best.
It's been a pleasure.
All right. Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.